Welcome back in. Well, as a parent, you may have heard some of the talk lately about red dye 40 and potential issues with it. Or if you haven't, what is it and should you be keeping a lookout for it? ProMedica Dr. Christina Lucas-Vougiouklakis, I missed the first one, Lucas-Vougiouklakis. I got it.
You got it. You got it.
She's with us this afternoon so we can learn more about this. I knew I was going to mess that up,
it's
but you're,
okay.
you're
it's
sweet.
A Greek name. No.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So this is a topic that has come up in some of my parent groups. You know, parents saying, you know what, we had some behavioral problems with one of our kids, and as soon as we cut out the dyes, it made a world of difference. So is there some science behind this?
Absolutely. So the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, vets these types of dyes that are put in a lot of foods, and most of them are safe, but at the same time we found that a lot of kids have allergies to them. And they may not manifest like true allergy symptoms, you know, a rash or whatnot, but they act crazy. They'll get very hyper, or they'll get irritable. Sometimes even depression can be seen in these kids. So a lot of times attention deficit disorder or hyperactivity is misdiagnosed as that. Instead, it's what they're eating. So it's very, very important to tell your physician or provider, what are your kids eating? And especially at school, if they're drinking, you know, red Kool-Aids or things like that, or eating Halloween candy, their behavior, the poor teachers have to really pay attention to them. So it's very, very important to have that open communication with your provider to say, hey, keep that food journal to see what foods might be potentially having it, and then reading that label. I know it takes more time, but everything has food dyes in it. And it's not always just red. It's the oranges, the yellows, the blues.
Marshmallows has blue or something. You know, you would have never
thought that. Yeah. So reading those labels is critical to see what am I eating, what are my kids eating, and to see what other alternatives there can be.
Yeah, so you may say, okay, he had Skittles or a Twizzler or something, and then was a completely different child.
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely different child. Now, chocolate is usually a better alternative, unless there's an allergy to that, of course, but it's better than that. And a lot of times people think it's the sugar, which the sugar doesn't help because, of course, it makes people hyper, but it's the dye a lot of times that's really causing these kids to just not feel good, and they get stir crazy. I mean, I've got 3 kids myself, and when they have a Skittle, it's like,
Like, I don't like how I feel right now.
You're right.
Yeah.
And they'll tell me that. They'll be like, I feel jittery. So a lot of times it's these food additives. So.
And as you mentioned, just that open conversation with your doctor, because, yeah, you may be thinking, oh, is it ADHD or something? Oh, maybe we just need to tweak the diet a little bit and see what happens. So super important information. And I think just it's a struggle for parents because we're living in this world with a lot of processed food. And sometimes I'm going to the grocery store and I'm going, why are all these extra things? And then we think, well, eating healthy is expensive, but you know, you've got some strategies for that.
I do. So, you know, again, as a mom too, I know it's a struggle. My kids make fun of me, say, Mom, can't we just have something from a box or go through the drive-through? And it's a struggle, and it's, you know, choose your heart, because sometimes in a rut, you just have to do what you got to do because life is what it is. But at the same time, we try to pick some healthy alternatives and meet them in the middle. So, you know, shopping the grocery store and really reading that food label to see, are there artificial and natural flavors or colors in that product? How about beet juice? How about blueberry? You know, cranberry, anything in that color, raspberry and things like that. You know, of course, some kids have true allergies to those types of things. And again, we have to make it work and pivot. But at the same time, if we can read those labels and find alternatives, hibiscus is another really good one. That would be a better choice than using the ones that have the artificial colors and flavors too, because those additives really cause problems down the line with health.
And we want to, you know, live long, healthy lives, enjoy ourselves with, you know, and help our kids, you know, reach their full potential.
Absolutely.
So and just trying to do our best, you know?
We are. And, you know, it's a struggle, and I get it. I hear my patients all the time. You know, I'm a mom too. I get it. But, you know, pick your battles with the food. You know, if you have your kryptonite, you know, all my kids have their kryptonite. There's this pizza, and it's like, okay, on occasion we can have that. But I ask them, how do you feel after you have that?
Not great, right?
Right, exactly. or, you know, Thanksgiving meals sometimes. How do we feel after eating too much? So the Greeks always say pan metron arista, everything in moderation.
There we go.
So there you go. And even an old Greek guy named Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. And that's one of the main teachings in lifestyle medicine, which I'm board certified in as well, is to choose more whole food, plant-based nutrition and get the kids involved. Let them pick out foods that are different.
And they might eat it.
And they might eat it. You know, it's like green eggs and ham. Try it and you see.
And you'll see
if you're healthy.
So really great advice, and we're going to have you back, you know, again, because there are a ton of things that we can chat about, but this is a good start. Thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me today.
Absolutely.